Happy Thursday. Therapy Thursday. Take a deep breath with me. Come into center. Let's ground ourselves into the earth. Feel your feet fully rooted in the earth. Close your eyes. Really start to sense into your body. Notice the smells. Notice what your mouth tastes like. Notice what you're hearing. Notice what you're seeing behind the closed eyes and what you feel on your skin. And breathe in long, slow, and deep with me. Inhaling, filling up the belly from the pelvic floor, expanding the ribs, creating space between each of the ribs. The chest lifts. On the exhale, the chest lowers, the ribs contract, they pull in and up at the navel. We're just zipping it all up and in. And then rooting our feet fully into the earth. Let's do that together. Inhale. Really bring in that prana, that breath, that life force into your body. And then exhale with a sigh. Let it out. Inhale together. Exhale it out. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. Inhale, long, slow, and deep. Never a rush. The breath is there to support you at all times. And exhale it out. And with your eyes closed, just scan yourself, scan your body, scan your mind. Notice your thoughts, being in awareness. What's the first thought that drops in? What's the first memory, sensation? Where's your attention going and your energy flowing? It's all about mindfulness. When you come into breath awareness, you come into your mind and the thoughts that are constantly creating this dialogue. We have this inner speaker that we need to observe and to witness. Because the more we are in awareness of our thoughts, the more we're in awareness of ourselves, that allows and gives us the opportunity to respond to life as it shows up, as it presents itself to us, so that we're not in reaction, getting caught off guard, triggered or charged by things that we had forgotten about, that we had repressed, suppressed, ignored. That's what creates stress, is when we are in oblivion, when we are oblivious to our own mind, our own thoughts, our belief systems. All that stuff is operating at an unconscious or subconscious level to where it's running the show. That's where the mind is mastering you versus you mastering the mind. And when we come into this mindfulness around what is going on up in here, then we can get to know our own programming. We can rewrite the stories of our lives. We can strengthen our reserve. And instead of being on that defense or offense, we can be in awareness. And there's a huge difference between awareness and defense, isn't there? When you're in awareness, there's a lot more, okay, I've got information. I know I can use that. So when you find yourself triggered or caught off guard by things in life, because we all do, instead of reacting to it, you can respond. You can slow the pace down when you become the witness to your mind through mindfulness and the breath. Master your breath, master your mind, master your life. When you slow down the breath and you can watch the thoughts come in, floating in like clouds and floating out. Or maybe pausing and leaning in and learning more. Because it's the mind that's there to serve you, not you serve it. So whatever arises is there for you. It's a clue. And it's a key to unlock the door of your life. The irony is most people are so unconscious of their own thoughts, their patterns, their beliefs. They are at the beckon, the will, the mercy of the mind. And sometimes that mind, it isn't so kind, now is it? I know I'm my own worst inner critic. Can you relate? Let me know. How do you respond to life, or do you react to the circumstances and the things that present themselves to you? Because once you see the patterns, you have the opportunity to make change, to not be a slave to the old programming, but to rewrite your destiny and your story. Some powerful stuff. So today, in my VA call, funny enough, we were talking about mindfulness and eating, mindful eating. I've already written a whole workshop on this, and if you're interested, let me know in the comments and I will keep you abreast, because I'm thinking I will do this as an online course. That mindfulness and how you eat. But before you even get to the eating part, when you're in awareness of your programs, your beliefs and thoughts, whatever's going through your mind, when you're in awareness there, then you understand that when you go to reach or you crave something to eat, that it originated here. That something in your conscious, unconscious, subconscious, wherever it's residing, whether you see it or sense it in some way, shape, or form, it is driven by it. So what you crave has an origin. Comfort foods, what are those? Comfort foods are when you look to soothe. When something uncomfortable comes up, you want something to soothe it, to comfort you. Hence the term comfort foods and comfort eating. Because it's real easy to just say you want to eat a certain type of food, or you're craving it. Oh, I must need it. Do you really? Do you think your body is really craving it for the nutrients, the nutrition that it's going to provide you? Or is it going to soothe you? Is it there to numb out the discomfort or the feelings and the emotions that arise? Because emotions are like the ocean, and they will ebb and flow like the tides. They will come and go. But the more you can slow down and be in awareness of your mind, the less those ebbs and flows will throw you off your course, will knock you off your balance, catch you off guard. So, let's talk about that. Because when you crave a food, it's because of a mood. And when you're in a certain mood, y'all know what that feels like, right? Oh, I'm in a mood. When you're in a certain mood and you're craving a certain food, and when you reach for that comfort food to numb out that mood, then when you eat that food, because of the energy and the thought patterns behind it, you're reinforcing that mood. You're not going to numb it out. You're just creating that vicious cycle that the food is reinforcing and feeding the mood, and the mood is reinforcing and reaching for the food. It's a powerful dynamic once you get it down. And once you're in awareness of it, you can shift and change it. So then you can start confronting the why you reach for it, the why you're in the mood. What triggered it? What set it off? Several times a day we're caught off guard because we're not conscious of our thoughts. We're not in awareness of the pattern, the program, the story that keeps running on a repeat cycle. Rinse, repeat. We do it. We all do it. But the more we become aware of it, the less it will rule us and run us, and we will be able to recapture, reclaim, and do better. Because when you know better, you do better. You have that moral obligation. It's in that awareness that you can treat it as, oh, okay, I'm feeling sad because I'm lonely. I'm feeling rejected because I feel nobody loves me. But is that really true? You have to lean in and confront and ask the questions. Is this true? Is it kind? Is it relevant? If you don't confront it, it will rule over you. Because where attention goes, energy flows. And when you take away the attention from something that is asking and needing your attention, it's resistance and persistence. Well, the more you resist the feeling, the more it will persist. The more it will catch you off guard and knock you off your feet. Because when you're not balanced, when you're not in awareness, that's balance, where we tend to fall in different directions. Fall for the lies of our mind, the stories and the programming. So we have to confront whatever it is that goes on up in here so that we're not just operating blindly, habitually. When we're doing that, we're not living. We're just going through motions. Even ironically, as it's driven by emotion. Our emotions, our actions are most of the times driven from the mind, which is where the emotions arise. You realize that the body keeps score. You know that the body is reflecting what's going on in the mind. But do you realize that the stories you're telling yourself up here and you're thinking it's an emotion in your body is really just the imbalance that it senses, like this doesn't resonate. And the reason that the emotion is there is to get your attention to confront it and ask if what this is about. And if we can really get to the bottom and resolve. Can we feel it fully so we can heal it fully? So that the emotion will continue to flow, because emotions are meant to be in motion. They're supposed to come in to guide you and go out because they've done their job. They've done their part. You're not supposed to live in your emotions. You're supposed to live in the moment. That's the gift of the present. Isn't that ironic, the way the words play? The more you're in tune, you start to see the synchronicities. You see the poetry of life. It is a dance, and how you dance with life is up to you. It all starts up in here, in your belief system. Here's the thing. Food. It's the second biggest addiction we have. First, most important addiction that we need to tackle is the belief systems that we all hold. The dogma. The I'm not budging, this is the way it is. Because it's all I've ever known. If you don't ever confront old beliefs and stories, you will never evolve. You hold yourself captive. You keep yourself stuck and stagnant, because growth only comes with change, and change is like death. So it means confronting and facing newness, the unfamiliar. The mind, it's there to protect you, but it's supposed to use the information that comes at it as keys. Information is just what it is. It's just giving you information to compare. Because we do this, we compare ourselves all the time to everything and everyone around us. That's what we call judgment. But there's a difference between discerning and judgment. When you discern, it's because you have to decide, what is my next avenue? What is the next choice I need to make in this life? Whereas when you judge, there's usually this authoritarian style finger pointing out you, other than me, which has 3 fingers coming back at you. So you do yourself a disservice, you do yourself harm when you judge another, because you're judging yourself 3 times more backwards. But you don't even realize it, because this is all part of the programming that you haven't confronted, right? At least that's what I found over the course of my life. So if you're allowing others to have control over your moods, it's because you're not taking your personal power. You're actually making it personal when it's not. When someone else sets you off, triggers you, kicks you into reaction, it's because you're allowing them to, you're giving them your power. You're essentially saying it's about you, even though you're saying it's them that did it to you. That's playing the victim. And it takes a lot of awareness to step back and go, oh no, I'm not a victim. I'm going to be the victor in this situation, this circumstance. So with food, again, when we crave something, the question is, what am I trying to numb out? Or is this an actual, my body needs nutrition? You have to learn to discern, not judge yourself about the mood or the food or the cravings or the sensations that arise. If anything, that's all That's all tools for you. Those tools are there for you to guide you. So you have everything you need to know. You have all this information. I'm in a mood. I want to reach for this food that I supposedly am craving. What's the emotion? There's an emotion with the mood, obviously, and it's all up in here. So the mind needs to take this stuff together, and instead of self-deprecating, self-sabotaging, and just going at it, because a lot of times that's what we do. We don't ever stop to question the why behind the mood that wants the food and the food that reinforces the mood. When we take time to become intimate with ourselves, we will also recognize that the emotions are represented in the stomach. Hello. We have this enteric nervous system that is phenomenal because it's less spoken about. But the enteric nervous system is actually more attuned to the inner workings of your nerves, your stress hormones, right? If you are in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, which often that's what the comfort food is a reaction, it's you being triggered. When you're in that state, that's the last thing you should be doing is reaching for food. The last thing you should be doing, reaching for food, based on the fact that in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, when you're in stress response, your body's already secreting the hormones for, I have to defend myself. Cortisol goes into the blood. Do you know if you have cortisol in your blood, you are excited, you're agitated, you're angry, or even just joyful to the extreme where you're like, you just can't contain it. Anytime your emotions are heightened and the cortisol is rushing through your blood, as soon as you start eating, now it's going to turn into inflammation because your body is upset. Inflammation translates to fat. Anybody out there that's a comfort food eater? A lot of times I hear things like, I just can't get rid of these pounds. I can't get rid of this tire around my belly, the stomach, because guess what? The body protects itself. That's a great example of how the body goes into protection mode. So now it's injected the cortisol into the blood, and now your body is creating these protective layers because that's what's happening. It's preparing you so that you're protected. It's all natural. But if you don't know how your body operates and how that actually affects you, that being in that stress response is you being in protective mode, that when you start eating, you're putting on the pounds, you're putting on the layers. That's all because of the hormones, the physiological, biological response to stress. So you have a mood, your emotions are heightened, you reach for this food, and then instantly the body's already in that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, so it's preparing itself, and the food comes in, and it starts attacking it, and it starts storing it and creating these protective layers, and then your mood just gets reinforced. So it's a vicious cycle of reach for the food because of the mood, and the mood gets reinforced by the food, and it's all up in here in this belly. This is where we store a lot of emotion, down in this lower area, because it's all about safety, security. There's so much depth and psychology behind every single thing we do. All you need to do is be willing to slow down, to slow your breath, to come into awareness of what it is that's really going on up in here. This is why meditation is so powerful. This is why I keep saying, master your breath, because it slows you down, it brings you back to the moment. Master your mind and your awareness of your thoughts, your stories, your programming. And then you're aware of what has really been running the show behind your life. And you can make the necessary changes you need for your purpose, for your goals, your ambitions, your dreams, your desires, whatever it is you want, wish, or desire, it is right here with you at all times. You're either contributing to your success or you are self-sabotaging. And everything starts up in here. Food is just one of the many examples, one of the many addictions that we all have, because we revolve around food. So how many of you out there, but I have to eat? Do you? Have you ever tried not eating? Have you ever tried fasting, allowing your body to heal? Especially those of us with immune compromising issues or any type of inflammation, pain, injuries, dis-ease. They're working hand in hand. It may not happen overnight, but the more you're willing to give up the attachment to your belief systems, then you're going to be able to give up the attachment to the foods you crave when you're in the mood. You see that connection I just made right there, right? So wherever you're addicted, you need to become aware of it first before you can make a change. But you have to be willing to confront it, because not everybody wants to do that. Because I can't give up my coffee, I can't give up my alcohol, I can't give up my chocolate, I can't give up my whatever, insert whatever it is you can't give up. That's a belief system. It's not a body. Now the body does follow, because the addiction through the physiological hormones is all connected. It isn't just I'm addicted to such and such. No, it's because of a belief system around it too. Addiction isn't necessarily a physiological addiction. It starts here first. Everything starts in the mind. And when you get down to the root of the mind, then everything else is gravy after that. Oh my goodness. We'll do a fast together. We may do that. That's a great idea. Maybe we should do that. Let's set a date. Let me know in the comments how many people are interested and willing to do a fast, and we'll do it together. We'll support one another. If you haven't joined my group, go ahead and join my group as well, Ridiculously Authentic group. And while I'm here, I'm a warrior. I'm a yoga warrior. And today they are selecting the top 15, and I am still first in the running. Thanks to all of you. And I say thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of you who have been voting daily every 24 hours, because you have allowed me and kept me in the running in the first place. So keep voting every 24 hours through the end of April, because I'm in it to win it. And I'm here for the long haul. I'm dedicated, I'm devoted. This is bigger than any of us could ever imagine. And I want to see success for not just myself, but everyone who is interested in a mindfulness food workshop, because I think it's time. I think it's time we all do that together. So again, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. Every 24 hours, let's keep it going, because when I win this, now we're going to start making change. We're going to start rolling. I'll tell you right now, when we make a conscious effort to change, whether it's with food or anything else in your life, when you set a goal, an ambition, and you keep that laser beam focus on that prize, on that destination, everything else, it's like the waters and the waves are parted like Moses did. Because the universe conspires when you dedicate yourself and devote yourself to what it is you truly, at a heart and soul level, want to achieve and do. You have to be willing to trust and not listen to naysayers and not get caught off guard by the old programs or conditions, because that takes a lot of effort in itself. The more you're in awareness of the stuff that is demoting, push-pull, you may desire something, but you may not feel worthy of receiving it. So therefore, you're creating your own dynamic of an obstacle, that challenge to get past yourself. Because that's what happens, is we hold ourselves against ourselves. We hold on to things thinking that they're relevant, and a lot of times that's old baggage that needs to be dropped by the wayside. Let that shit go, homie. It doesn't belong to you. It doesn't serve you any further. So just, tell it, thank you, bye-bye. Sorry. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for telling me. I appreciate you. You've served me up to a point. It's time for you to go. You no longer belong here. Oh, and that takes a lot of courage, and it takes the vulnerability to go through the process of those mini deaths that when we make a change in our lives, when we decidedly make the choice and the willingness to change, the universe will support us, but we have to trust in that. And yes, of course, our mind will, oh, I don't know, it's not happening soon enough. It's not looking the way I want it to look. Ooh, there goes that mind, that monkey mind. Again, meditation, mindfulness. What is your mind? What is its repeated program? What is the story it tells you all the time? Because it's always influencing you. Again, the mind, the mood influences the food, the moving around, whatever it is you do next. What is it that drives you? What is it that motivates you, inspires you? What about that spirit within you? Are you giving yourself permission to receive? Are you building up that prana, that life force to support it? You can say you want something bad, but how badly are you working toward it? How badly are you committed to it? How committed are you to your purpose, to your dreams, your goals, your aspirations in life? You know, a lot of people, they're all talk, but no walk. You got to be willing to walk your talk. Not just, look at me, this is what I want. I should just get it because I said so. You first off, sometimes the hardest thing is just to ask. Just to ask for some people, I know for myself, that's why I'm asking for your support. Just asking for help sometimes is the biggest challenge. It is being vulnerable and in alignment with your integrity to know what it is you want first. You're stronger if you know, yeah, this is what I want, and you own that. Nobody can talk shit about you if you are in your personal power and knowing. Conviction is the word. If you are in conviction of like, I know I want to win this. I want to be the yoga warrior. I want to be in yoga journal. I want that $10,000 so that I can do the bigger work. Without conviction, what is going to drive you? Without direction, what is going to guide you? It all starts within, and it all starts up in here. And you have to be willing to be open to whatever unfolds and get out of here and not start getting freaked out when it doesn't look the way you think it should, because the mind has all its ideas about what it's seen and what it thinks it should look like and what it should sound like and what it should taste like and smell like and touch and all that. You got to get away from that. That's a distraction, because the mind easily wants, it's that instant gratification, right? Oh, I'm not getting one. Okay, that means, and this is where we have to use things like affirmations, like, I am open to receive, and the universe is providing me something bigger and better than I could ever imagine. One of my immediate, and it's so positive, and I say it to myself every time I go to do my practice in the morning. Universe, show me what is bigger, better, and more amazing than I could ever want, wish, or desire in this world. So you can have an idea, you can have a frame of reference, but don't get attached to that either. Because the universe is going to steer you in the direction that you're meant to go. As long as you know your focal point, you have a vision, you have a goal, your awareness in noticing the way that universe synchronistically moves you along the path to get to that, that's where you should be celebrating. Because I know for myself, I look at my life and I see how the dots have connected up to this point. And every time I turn around, it's like, kapow! Celebrate those synchronicities. You can't make these little magical steps and the miracles that unfold. You can't make this up. This is the magic of life. And the more you're in awareness, the more magical it appears, and the more it's joyful and playful, and you're dancing with life in such a way that it's like, I can't stop. I don't want to stop. It's got me jiving, and then sometimes you got to take a little deep rest. We call that depression. Because you know what depression is? It means it's something you feel you're lacking. And if you can whittle it down to, okay, if I'm in depression, what do I feel I'm lacking? Sometimes it's just HALT. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? Is the temperature too hot or too cold? Am I thirsty? If you just halt for a moment to come into that awareness that A subtle clue into being in depression could just be, or anxiety, could just be something as simple as the HALT. You might be just thirsty. And we're 70 to 80% water. So again, emotions, we're electrical beings, and our emotions ride on these currents. So when you are emotional, you're going to be irrational. Drink some water. You may rebalance, recalibrate yourself that way. Satisfy your own thirst. Don't think it's something outside of yourself. Because again, it's always starting here. It's always originating in the mind. And again, we're not always that kind on ourselves. So we have to be our own steward, steering the ship, taking care of our needs. Each one of us is an adult, and we've all had something in our past that was maybe traumatic. Maybe there was a time your needs weren't met and you realized, oh my gosh, I'm still suffering from that. And when you start to reparent yourself and you reclaim and recapture that inner child within, you go, you know what, I got your back. I'm the adult here now, and you're never going to be let down again. And I'm sorry I abandoned you. You're here with me now, and I can fulfill the needs. What is it you need right now? When you start inquiring to your inner child starts to get giddy and happy. Look, I'm being seen, I'm being heard, I'm being felt. When you take care of you, that's the best thing you could ever do. And that sets a precedence for the way others treat you. Because when you do unto yourself first, then you can do unto others just as well. That the kinder you are on your mind, the kinder you'll be on other people as well. When you see people around you, they're bitter, they're resentful, imagine the inner dialogue of those people. That's what brings me back to my compassion. That I recognize that if that person is being attacking toward myself, ooh, how does their mind sound? What does that sound like within them? Their poor bodies are suffering because they're responding, The body is a tattletale. Look, I hear that. It does. It tattles on you all the time. I feel like I've got a knife in my back. Well, what are you doing to self-sabotage yourself? You're, in the mind first. And it's demonstrated all around us. And the energy that we are calibrating at is what we attract to us as well. So if you are somebody who's always in like the schlep rock, remember the Flintstones, schlep rock? Wowsy, woo, woo. Everything bad happened around them. Or Pigpen from the Peanuts. You're carrying around this cloudy energy. You yourself are attracting stuff to you based on the energy you are emitting. Take responsibility for your energy. And it all comes back to the mind. So you have to be in awareness. What can you do if you don't know? Nothing? No. That's ignorance. There's a difference. Ooh, yeah, right? Taking personal responsibility and being accountable for what's going on within you, that's where you claim your personal power. And if you're not doing it, you're at the whim and the beck and call of everybody around you. You become the victim versus the victor. So the most important thing you'll ever do is to become accountable and responsible for you. Nobody's going to do that for you, and you can't do that for anybody else, except for small children if you're a parent. And don't play the martyr. Don't play the blame shame game, because the reality is shame is really just it's another tool. If you feel ashamed, you need to lean into that. Why would you feel ashamed? Is there an old voice in your head that's not yours, maybe from your childhood? Is it a parent, an old, somebody you admired, a mentor, a coach? Pay attention to the voices in your head, because those are the ones that are influencing you the most. And just remember, in life, if you're unwilling to ask, you will never know where you stand. And at least if you ask a question and someone tells you no, you know that to move on to the next person, the next circumstance, the next situation. You can eliminate a whole lot of struggle, strife, turmoil if you start asking questions and asking for permission and asking in advance, versus being at the whim and the victim of just allowing life to happen to you. No, you need to take the reins. You need to drive your ship. You need to be the steward of your life. And remember that a rejection is God redirecting. Remember that rejection is God's direction in another way. He is redirecting you. I think I heard that with Joel Osteen. Rejection is God's redirection. He's redirecting you toward what it is your heart and soul is meant for. Because again, each of us has a role in this life. Each of us has a soul, an essence that came here to complete, to fulfill a purpose. Remember that, claim that, own that, because that is who you are at a soul essence and level. That's the truth of who you are. That is your Sat Nam, your Namaste. The truth, the knowing within. So I just want to say thank you for listening. I hope this served those of you who needed it. Please remember to vote for me. Yoga Warrior, let's win this together, because I'm in it to win it. And I want you also to win it your life, to recognize that you yourself are very important, that we are all here together on this planet for a reason. And the sooner we recognize that we have more in common than when we do apart, we all crave love. We all are seeking needs being met. Start to recognize what needs it is you need to have met and start meeting them for yourselves. Because the moment you start meeting your own needs is the moment you take back your personal power and stop relying on others to do for you what you yourself can take care of. Not be the victim anymore. You are the victor. You got this. And I've got you. You've got me. Whatever you do, I love you. Have an amazing and blessed day.